Alright, this is the not definitive video, but a pretty good one about how to replace the upper, inner, rear bushing, which is this, on a Ford Thunderbird 1989 through 1997. And this is what I've come up with as the best set of tools you can do to pull that bearing out. Let's see here, but I'll go through all the steps from start to finish. The parts list is, you need to get, I got 5 half-inch washers, 5 5/8-inch washers, and 5 3/4-inch washers. I'll show you how those work later. And then specifically a Lennox 2.5-inch or 64mm hole saw. This, you'll see, is indispensable for the next part. A 1/2-inch threaded rod. Anything bigger than this won't work because it won't clear the hole in the new bushing when you go to press it in. And then you're going to need the bolts, of course. I have got 2 for each side in case I stripped one out. And something to put in between the 2 ears because it's a U-channel, and when you try to push it in or pull it out, you'll collapse the U-channel. And I found that this Craftsman 7/8-inch 3/8 drive socket is very good at clearing that without getting stuck in there afterwards. And probably the best part is a quick set deadbolt shroud. Just take the chrome off and keep this, because this is good for pressing the bearing in, because it fits exactly over that and it won't press on your rubber. It'll only press on the shaft on the outside, so you don't ruin that. Alright, so let's get a working. Alright, as far as your tools, just get yourself a handful of wrenches, size 15mm through 21mm, 13/16 because I can't find mine, and a bottle jack. It's a 3-ton right here, and that's the only 2 things you'll really need thus far, because you gotta get the wheel off. Now underneath there is the arm here, and there's a little indentation there where the spring fits around that. I just put the jack up in there like this, and that is how it gets raised. I find that's the easiest way to do it. You only need 1 jack. Just make sure the parking brake's on. You won't have a problem with the car getting away from you. Alright. And when that's made contact, just get that wheel about 1 inch off the ground. That's all you'll really need for this. Alright, now that you have your car up off the ground, you can check it for play. This side isn't actually that bad. Not as bad as the other side was. So first you take off your wheel. Alright, once you've gotten to this step, you're going to have this bolt that you need to take out. I believe it's an 18 on one side and a 21. Okay, and this one won't want to come out because it'll just spin in place, so get your wrench on the other side to hold it still. And just power that off. You can do all this with hand tools, but I wouldn't want to. Okay. Now, because you have the suspension supported and not the frame of the car, this won't go anywhere, so that's good. So just work that out. And this has got a lot of friction on these bottom 2 ones, so you're going to want to pull that down and it will stay, and just make sure you don't go crazy with that brake line there. Alright, now at this stage you've got the bushing, which is in here. For perspective, here we go. We get it right down in there, and there's that bushing. On the back side is a 18mm, on the front side is a 15mm. The 15mm is the one that stays still, the 18mm is the one that you turn to remove. But if these things are as wore out as they are, you can probably just spin the eccentric as you take it off on the 15 side. It's a little hard to get a tool from this angle because you got to go up the bottom of the frame here. Let's get that off. Alright, once you got this far, this is where your standard issue 3/8 impact does not come into play, because it just doesn't have enough power to get it off. If you got a better one than mine, you might be able to break the nut loose, but I doubt it. Alright, so we've got the 18mm on the back. Just the jaw will go this way, so that way you can clear the spring. And then you put the 15mm on the front. That can just kind of hang there. Now, the old lip over lip thing. If I can get enough room here to get this down on here. Might just need a shorter wrench to stick on the end of it. And this should come apart kind of easily. There it goes. See, it's already turning for us. Might even be able to do it with one hand. Just barely. Let's do a couple of those. And then I'm going to just turn the front side, or the back side, with the air wrench, just for the consideration of speed. Find our 18mm, keep that 15 on there. Run this up through the bottom. Make sure it's turned the right way. Okay, now you just push the bolt out through the front, and remember that it goes head to back, and this one goes back to front. Okay, then you just pull the whole part out, and you're ready to take it out of there. Yeah, see, this one's pretty wore out there. This part just falls out. Alright. Now to assemble the parts, how we need them, I'm going to get this a little bit closer. Not sure how much we need here, but I can always back off on it. Okay. So on this end is going to be the end that we're pulling from. So I'm going to put the big washers, the biggest washers, the 3/4, to those, the 5/8" washers, to those, and on this end, 2 regular, the 1/2 inch, and then put that end in. Now on this end is where the hole saw comes in. Now it's going to fit really tightly, but it will go on over the flange on the bushing here. And then once you got that on there, if it doesn't go on real good, just give it a little tap. And it will grab onto the bushing, and you won't have to worry about it falling off. Alright, once you've done this, back off a little bit, because you're going to need a little bit more thread to get everything to go on. The jam nuts back on. So, like the other side, I put 2 big ones. One mid-sized one. Let's see here. Put that on there, and then put our nut there. And then get your 7/8" Craftsman, and you're just going to hold it there with your fingers. Nothing special about that. Okay. Then you go back down to your air tool. Get your air ratchet and your 19mm. Hold on to that with that one. Find the 19mm wrench, or the 3/4, doesn't really matter. and you go ahead and start on it. Short bursts for safety. Once you initially pop it out, just back off on it. And take it off. You'll see that's already starting to come out a little bitty bit. And what you want to do then is take off your big washers, because it won't clear that. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stagger them a little bit. And then you put this whole thing back on. Alright, this should be the final part where things should just come out. Emphasis on should. Okay. Okay. Now this is a good opportunity to show you what could possibly happen if it doesn't go perfectly. As you see, the insides come out, but the outside's still in there. Alright, that piece that came out in the middle is very important to have, because it helps hold this whole back assembly sort of in place, centered it, and such. And so just put it back in the back side, not the front side that has the flange. And then on the piece that came out, put the rubber side put the flange side out. The other side doesn't have a flange. And then put that against your washers. And then you're just going to put some power on it. And that rubber will be enough to push out the bushing. As you see, it is completely out of there. Alright, install is kind of like removal. You're going to take your new one here, and on the other side, since this is the part that goes up in the car like this, I just kind of eyeballed it and put it down low. You may want to go get it professionally aligned when you're done. Now, when reinstalling it, you're going to put that quick set piece right on the end of that. Get your collection of things like this, and it's going to be pretty tight to try to get back in through the bushing. So I just help it along with a little WD-40. Especially if you've been working on this all for both sides, them threads are going to get a little tore up. And then you're going to put your saw blade over on this side. And you put some power on it. Short bursts. And make sure that spacer is in there. So when you go to put it back together, you're going to slide that back up in there like that. Put the bolt in, turn it till it goes in all the way, and then put your nut on the back. And then get it as straight as you can. Put all that back together. Okay, and get the big bolt that goes in there. Then put your 15 mil on the front and make sure it goes still. Make sure this one's tightened in. Yeah. Feed that up through the frame rail here. And tighten it down. Now all you got to do is tighten that bolt down. And that should do it. And just put the tire back on, lower the jack, and go get your car aligned. So that's all you really need to do.